Hello. Security of any nation cannot be sustained without the police force. So why kill the police officers? This is what we will be interrogating tonight on the show. Good evening and welcome to the program. The primary responsibilities of the police force include protection of the general public, of course sometimes by patrolling the neighborhoods, directing traffic and investigating crimes. They also partner with the communities to maintain law and order and reduce the fear of crime and improve the quality of lives and of all citizens. Now, but when these men and women of the police force are feloniously killed while performing their duties, then the society may have a price to pay for it. The question now is, what are the reasons behind the killing of people whose duty is to protect lives and property? The answer to this is critical to the unraveling and unmasking of the identities of the criminal elements behind the dastardly act. You will recall that one of the major attacks on the police force that shook the nation was in 1986, when the notorious armed robbery gang led by Lawrence Anini killed some police officers at the different robbery operations in the then Bendel State, now Edo and Delta states. Between then and now, the nation has witnessed more killings of police officers. Early this month, the police authority reported the killing of 7 police officers at Galadimara Junction in Abuja. This occurred 3 days after 3 police officers were murdered in cold blood in Akwa Ibom State. And that was 3 months also after 10 policemen lost their lives in an ambush in Benue State. This is in addition to 4 police officers also murdered in Rivers State. These tragic line of duty deaths are a stark reminder of the dangers the law enforcement professionals face each day while protecting this and serving the nation. On Weekend File tonight, we will delve into the intricacies of homicide against the nation's police officers. Thank you for joining us on the show tonight, and you are indeed in good company for another session of news, views, and analysis. My name is Kirian Umayo, and this is Weekend File. The news comes first. Now, the federal government says it is committed to the completion of Abuja Warri rail line in December 2018, ahead of the 2019 deadline. Minister of Transportation Chibuike Amechi said this while on an inspection tour of the project. Oyina Kaloka reports that the federal government is reviving the abandoned project $200 million.
3 decades, the Abuja Warri rail line was abandoned. But as you can see, train is warming up to take off right here from Itakpe. And for some residents who were born even after their contract was awarded, now full-grown men with children and wife, it is a dream come true and a big reality.
Before I was born, this project has been going on. But now, they're feeling grateful. We're going to create enough employment.
Building with excitement and anticipation, the Minister of Transportation, Chibuike Amechi, alongside other passengers, had a smooth ride testing the project. At every station to inspect the ongoing 12 train stations under construction, the minister called for speedy completion.
What is only important is that at least we have a track we can run. But where would the passengers stand? Where would they sit? Where would the comfort of the passengers? If we don't want to do that, we know we don't want to do that. But we already have awarded the contract and we are not owing. You see, that's the difference between this government and other government. We are not owing. We hardly owe. If you're due for payment, you're paid. And they've been paid for a long time.
With the laying of tracks completed, the 354-kilometer standard gauge rail line passing through Itakpe, Ajaokuta, Agbo, and Ore is 80% completed.
Train can move on the track conveniently and safely. Apart from passengers, we tend to move cement for Bagina.
For the traditional rulers and the locals, federal government's effort at reviving the abandoned project is commendable.
We thank God, sincerely thank God for this for the government of Muhammad Buhari, for initiating some infrastructural development that help the economy and the overall welfare of the citizens.
Boost the economy of this place. So we are so happy.
We are very happy. We are very happy for the project.
Aside easing transportation problem along the corridors, providing employment, the train ride afford one a pleasant opportunity to appreciate the beautiful landscape in the country. From Warri in Delta State, Oyinaya Kalu Oka, NTA News.
Now, President Muhammadu Buhari will depart Abuja Sunday for Lome, Republic of Togo, to participate in 2 high-level meetings. On arrival, the president will have an interactive session at the Nigerian embassy with the Nigerian community based in Togo. On Monday, President Buhari will attend the joint ECOWAS-ECAS summit, which will deliberate on common security threats to countries in West Africa and members of the Economic Community of Central African States, with a view to forging concerted strategies in tackling the menace of terrorism, trans-border crimes, and other forms of violent extremism. It will be recalled that President Buhari had expressed support for the proposed ECOWAS-ECAS summit when he received the current chair of the ECOWAS Authority Heads of State and Government, President Nasimba of Togo, on June 29, 2018 in Katsina. While in Lome, the Nigerian delegation will also participate in a meeting on single currency for ECOWAS with the deadline of 2020. Being one of the largest economies in the continent, Nigeria's leadership role in this sub-region or regional aspiration cannot be overemphasized. On Tuesday, President Buhari will join other leaders of the sub-region for the 53rd ordinary session of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government. This session will be dominated by the political and security situations in Guinea-Bissau, Mali, and Togo, institutional reforms of the ECOWAS Commission to enhance its effectiveness, illegal migration of Africans to Europe, and the worrisome violent clashes between herders and farmers, among other issues. At the end of this session, a new chair of the ECOWAS Authority is expected to take over from the incumbent and host. President Buhari will be accompanied by Governor Ben Ayade of Cross River State and Abubakar Bello of Niger State. Others are Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyama, Minister of Defense Mansour Danali, Minister of Finance Kemi Adelju, Minister of Interior Abdulrahman Dambazau, and the Minister of Trade, Industry and Investment Ukichuku Nalama. The National Security Advisor Babagana Monguno, the Chief of Defense Staff General Abayomi Olonishake, the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency Ahmed Abubakar, and the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria Godwin Emefiele are also in the President's delegation. This is contained in a statement by the Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu. In other news now, with less than 24 hours before the people of Mali go to the polls to elect a new president, ECOWAS has deployed 170 election observers to monitor the elections throughout the country. Foreign Desk correspondent Makut Simon Macham reports from Bamako.
The people of Mali continue to show excitement on the prospect of electing new leaders on Sunday as the city of Bamako continues to experience last-minute campaigns. There are over 8.4 million registered voters in the 8 regions of the country who are expected to exercise their franchise through the ballot on D-Day. While deploying the ECOWAS observers, head of the mission, Kadre Ouedraogo, asked them to be diligent and observe the guidelines of election monitoring so as to come up with credible assessment of the exercise.
It is quite normal that we discuss with them before they are deployed on the ground, asking them to observe freely and observe objectively so that we can know at our own level which opinion we are going to have for this election, and I am confident that every observer will perform his duty with honor and honesty.
Mr. Ouedraogo was also at the logistics base of the Electoral Commission and also attended a meeting between heads of observer missions and the Prime Minister of Mali. Mali has over 21,000 voting centers in 741 districts. From Bamako in Mali, Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari, the presidency rather, has observed that some fervent supporters of President Muhammadu Buhari have begun political campaigns in their advocacies and advertisements in the mass media. In a statement by the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, the president appreciates their enthusiasm and appeals for patience so that the game can be played according to the rules. It further stated that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has a political timetable for campaigns, urging committed supporters in the country and beyond to be mindful of such, explaining that there will be ample time ahead of the trumpet to trumpet the good works of Buhari administration. It stated that the administration is committed to the due process and respect for rules, law and order, urging supporters to exercise restraint till the race commences officially as stipulated by law. Nigerians have once again been urged to support the present administration in its ongoing fight against corruption. The call was made at the launch of a book entitled Corruptionism, the Highest Stage of Capitalism by the Department of Political Science, University of Abuja. Dennis Adegunloye reports that President Muhammadu Buhari was also bestowed with an award at the event.
In special recognition for his dogged efforts at ridding the country of the scourge of corruption, a special award was received on behalf of President Muhammadu Buhari. The 12-chapter, 120-page book aims to identify the origins of corruption in Nigeria, and through this, bring to a wide audience solutions that will consolidate on the gains recorded by the Buhari-led administration. Nigerians are also urged to take time out for self-reflection and understand that corruption is not simply about money, but tears into all aspects of societal life.
As you can see, substantial progress is being made in this regard. But the expected victory can only come if all Nigerians rally behind Mr. President.
The staff advisor, Department of Political Science at the University of Abuja, reviewed the book.
The book tries to capture some of the contending paradigms of contemporary Nigerian state as well as Africa.
If another government should come, they are not fighting corruption, you will not even have an opportunity to write. When you present it, they will even arrest you. But our President Muhammadu Buhari is fighting corruption. What can I do? Now, take a barrel and write my contribution.
We have been seeing a lot of fight back against Mr. President, but by the grace of God, the help of the masses, the prayers of Nigerians, is going on.
Dennis Adegunloye, NTA News.
The National Information Technology Development Agency, NIDA, has made a strong presence in Katsina State by donating state-of-the-art information technology equipment. Abidu Hussein tells us more.
The intervention was among 200 similar projects executed by the National Information Technology Development Agency across Nigeria. Inaugurating the project, the Director General NIDA, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, disclosed that it is the 10th of its kind executed by the agency in Katsina State to provide more employment to the youth in the state. He acknowledged the foresight of Katsina State government for establishing the institution and commended the management of the institution for the successful completion of the project.
The agency is mandated to develop IT in Nigeria and also to regulate it.
The rector of the institute, Dr. Babangida Abubakar Albaba, said the project will empower youth in ICT skills and entrepreneurship. Katsina State Governor Aminu Bello Masari, represented by the Secretary to the Government of the State, Mustapha Muhammad Inwa, disclosed that the state government is working very hard to relocate the institute to its permanent site, which is still under construction. In Katsina, Abidu Yunusa, NTA News.
Troops of the 22 Brigade deployed in Operation Lafia Dole have successfully repelled Boko Haram terrorist attack on Dekwa, Borno State. In a statement by the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Texas Chukwu, the terrorists attempted to infiltrate into Dekwa through the eastern flank of the town, but were intercepted by the troops on duty. According to the release, some of the terrorists escaped with gunshot wounds following superior firepower of the troops during the encounter. While effort is being intensified to get other fleeing members, no casualties was recorded on the side of the troops. Confirming the incident, the commander, 22 Brigade Brigadier General John Ochai, assured residents of their safety, advising every law-abiding citizens to go about their businesses without fear. Now, the roving team of the Federal Operatives Unit Zone C has seized a container found to be carrying military hardware along Abaport Harcourt Road. A statement by the Public Relations Officer, Nigeria Customs Service, Joseph Atta, explains that the container was taken to Owerri after proper examination that revealed 11 bales containing new sets of sewn military camouflage, 15 cartons of Altama combat boots, sacks of made-up garment, packs of foreign tiles, 27 made-in-China medical equipment, water and household items. Controller in charge of Federal Operation Unit, Ahmed Azarema, said the representative of the owner has been detained while investigation to arrest and prosecute those connected with the crime has commenced. Nigeria's economy under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is again getting a boost as more channels of trades and bilateral investment are opening up. This was the view of the ECOWAS Commissioner for Infrastructure at the opening of the Nigeria-Benin joint border post in Seme-Krake. Doing their reports.
After 6 years of the inauguration of a world-class joint border post, the economy of West African states ECOWAS Commission has now opened the Nigeria-Benin joint border post for simulation. It was at the instance of the representatives of the two countries. The project, which was funded by the European Union (EU) Commissioner for Infrastructure of the ECOWAS Commission, said is in line with ECOWAS' objective of regional integration and trade facilitation. The post, which is equipped with modern technologies such as ETA scanner, quarantine center, computers, and other high-tech facilities, the Nigerian ambassador to the Benin Republic, Kayode Oguntuashe, says will further boost business and economic activities around the area.
The two presidents have given out commitments to suppress smuggling, and we are forming up a joint committee between the two countries to work together.
This energy is a very, it's 100%. One office containing two nationalities, that is the Nigerians and the Benin. So if we can work in one office, then you expect a good result.
Track you. It has given us that opportunity to monitor movement of persons.
President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to join his Benin counterpart Patrice Talon to perform the official opening in September in Lagos. Doing Dia NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed sympathy with the people of Kebbi State on the flood disaster that have destroyed farmlands and engendered considerable losses of crops and homes. The president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, said that the worst time of the administration owing to support Kebbi State, federal government's local rice production initiative. President Buhari urged the affected farmers not to despair, assuring them that they will not be forgotten by the federal government. He commended the state governors, senators Abubakar Bagudu for the swift measures put into action to alleviate the hardship of the victims, and equally directed emergency federal aid to complement the efforts. The Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund says 42 workers that lost their limbs, legs, and other body parts in the course of work have been rehabilitated in the last 1 year. Managing Director of the fund, Adibayo Somefu, while interacting with the Civil Society Coalition for Transparency, says such injured workers now receive allowances in addition to their salaries in line with the Employees Compensation Act. He says the compensation is to enable injured workers live a better life using their artificial legs and limbs. The fund is collaborating with anti-corruption agencies to stem corruption and enthrone the culture of transparency in the NSITF. In another development, President Muhammadu Buhari has condoled the government and people of Gombe State over the death of former State Governor Alhaji Hasidu Habu Abubakar. In a release by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, the President underscores that the country will surely miss the wise counsels of the revered politician who also served as the Minister of Water Resources and Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development. The President believes that the wealth of experience and innovative thinking will always be appreciated by posterity. The President praised the Almighty God to grant his soul eternal rest and comfort the family he left behind. Meanwhile, former military president General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida has described the death of Alhaji Abubakar Habu Hashidu as a great loss, not only for Gombe State, but for Nigeria in general. In a statement from his media office, Alhaji Habu Hadishu was described as a trusted ally and a technocrat par excellence that became an asset to General Babangida's administration in the development of river basins and as well as national water resources management in the country. General Babangida also described late Habu Hashidu as a political ideologist and pragmatic politician that accepted the will of the people by conceding defeat in the 2003 election, congratulating the winner. And the former military president extends his heartfelt condolences to the family of the deceased and to the government. In another development, President Muhammadu Buhari has commiserated with former Minister of Defense General Ali Mohammed Guzel, retired, on the death of his wife, Ajia Binta. In a statement by the Senior Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, the President said the death of Ajia Binta came to him as a shock. He said death is inevitable and the neat tribute to the dead is to pray for them. The President prayed Allah to comfort General Guzel and members of his family and grant them the fortitude to bear this great loss. He also prays for the soul of Hajia Binta to rest in perfect peace, adding that Allah reward her good deeds. Now, policing by its nature is a high-risk occupation, as one of the dangers associated with being a police force is homicide. This remains our focus tonight for interrogation. And up ahead will be correspondence report from across the nation. Keep it here with us, and I'll be right back.
African kings, African stars, African heroes, African greatness, African legends. In Africa, our heroes are our legends. Daniel Amokachi, Samika Ford, Raji Jaidi, and El Haj Diouf. Mustafa Haji.
Mustafa Haji, it is Al Haji Diop. Heading the ball downfield.
Legends never leave the game. Experience the legendary game with Glow Data Unmatched. Glow, Grandmasters of Data.
A beautiful life and a great future is possible. Stand with Standards Organization of Nigeria. Avoid substandard products, electrical appliances with damaging effects, tires without DOT number, stuffed and rusty edges. They can cause accidents. 12.5 kg LPG cylinders used as camp gas is a disaster waiting to happen. Substandard cables can cause inferno. Other substandard products to avoid include batteries, electrical bulbs, iron rods, pressing iron, brake pads. They will only endanger our today and future. Join hands with SON in ridding our country of substandard products. Don't buy or sell substandard products. See something? Say something. Call these numbers. Standards Organization of Nigeria. Improving life through standards.
Winning in hot and dry conditions is hard. Causes the body to sweat, which attracts germs that are easily passed from one person to another. What keeps you so cool, man? Dettol Cool combines Dettol's protection and an invincible icy feel. For super cool confidence, use Dettol Cool.
Dettol soap is now also available for 100 Naira only.
There is a reason Africa is called the new frontier. What was once potential is now an opportunity ready to be seized. once revered for our resources, today's wealth lies in our people. People who build the cities that shape the future. People who know an idea in one place means business in another. A generation for whom technology means there are no borders, no boundaries. We are the new lions in a brave new world, kings of the urban jungle. And there's a bank that puts the world in our pocket and the future in our hands. UBA, Africa's global.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
You're still watching Weekend File on the network service of the NTA. Now let's begin. The FCT Police Command has had its fair share of cases of attacks while on the line of duty. A case at hand is the recent attack that claimed the lives of 7 policemen at Galadimawa Police Observation Post here in Abuja. IMIJ Ayutthaya reports.
Right behind me is the Galadimawa Police Observation Post, where the fierce gun battle between some unknown gunmen and the policemen on duty ensued on the 2nd of July 2018. Residents and eyewitnesses of the incident recount the ordeal.
So the time what this thing happened, I did here. So now, that place where they, and they see gun. They do ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta.
We were so sad because of the 7 police officers that were killed and their rifles allegedly collected. We scared Keke Napep operators, leaving their tricycles behind, which were later taken away by the unknown gunmen.
It is to this effect that the FCT Commissioner of Police, Bala Chiroma, reassures members of the public that the command has deployed proactive security measures to protect its residents and forestall such a recurrence.
We've shifted towards being very proactive. We've been proactive, but we now want to intensify proactiveness. We don't want crimes to occur. We want to nip them in the bud, prevent them from happening. And where they happen, we want to nip them. Where they are about happening, we want to nip them in the bud.
Describing the security situation of the area and FCT as a whole as calm and peaceful, residents say they have actually witnessed the influx of policemen in the area, which is really reassuring.
Policemen, they are trying their best, at least more than before.
For now, we feel very secure, we feel safe, because they are everywhere now. They are really doing their job, and we appreciate that.
Meanwhile, FCT Police Command has appealed to the residents to be law-abiding, as machineries have been set in motion to bring perpetrators of the heinous crime to book, as investigations are ongoing. Ayina J. Auta, NTA News.
In Edo State, some concerned citizens who spoke with David Ire in Uzoria, where 4 policemen recently fell by bullets of gunmen, want proper training and retraining of police personnel to understand contemporary method of self-defense.
Records abound of attack on police personnel, especially those at checkpoints across the country, leading to the death of many officers and men of the agency that is primarily saddled with the responsibility of protecting lives and property of the people, including those who are now after their lives. The recent incident in Sabongida Ora, Edo State, of 4 policemen who were killed at the checkpoint and burnt inside their patrol vehicle has left many wondering what must have been responsible for this trend, more so as the suspects easily escape without trace.
Those who are out to secure us
are not supposed to be killed. Once you start killing them, then we're in trouble.
It is possible there is a compromise, and police have breached this compromise, and these guys are furious and they are paying back. That is all. Otherwise, why would somebody just come? Somebody is supposed to enforce law, you come and kill him.
Any policeman you kill, you are killing so many persons.
They want the just constituted Police Service Commission to critically address the lapses in the force operations in order to bridge the gap.
From head to toe, the police should clean up. If you don't have stain, then you cannot be accused of being dirty.
For now, one cannot finger any factor that led to it. But as you know, all over the world, policemen are enemies to criminals. For the year 2018, there was one that occurred at Ogbazu where 3 policemen were slain.
In Edo North, David Ire, NTA News.
Now, besides soft targets, security agents in Kaduna State have in recent past came under severe attacks, with many paying the supreme price, while some survived with permanent scars as a result of injuries they suffer from attacks by gunmen or bandits in their line of duty. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachukum brings us up to speed with the scenario in Kaduna State.
The recent attack and killing of 11 soldiers in Birnin Gwari, the killing of a policeman in Kaduna during the Shiites protest, and the killing of another 4 policemen on patrol duty along Birnin Gwari Road after the attack on their vehicle are still fresh in the minds of Nigerians.
Unfortunately, in the last 3 to 4 months, we lost about 7 police officers while discharging their lawful duty. So far, we are having leads in all the killings that happened.
Security agents on various assignments in southern Kaduna, Birnin Gwari axis, and the ever-busy Kaduna-Abuja highway with incidents of banditry, cattle rustling, and other violent crimes are worst hit.
Some few days ago, we lost some personnel. Not all from Operation Yagi. We have an operation going on in Kaduna State, Operation Sarandaji, in an operation from the Army headquarters. They are in Birnin Gwari and they lost some personnel. We in Operation Yagi we also lost some personnel.
The Buhari administration says it is resolute in bringing criminality and the perpetrators to their knees. Joint operation, community engagement in security architecture, and effective application of enhanced technology by security operatives in the line of duty will aid in abating such incidences of killing of security personnel while on duty. In Kaduna, I am Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachikung.
One of the personnel of the Nigeria Customs Service abducted by smugglers of prohibited goods along Nigeria-Benin international borders is still missing. This and other series of attacks are being faced by customs operatives and other paramilitary agencies as they intensify the anti-smuggling activities in Ogun State. Lukman Adefeso's situation report is here presented.
Within the last 1 year, the Nigerian Customs Service has suffered many attacks along Ediroko, Ikwoke, and other communities along Benin-Nigeria borders. From roads to illegal bush routes and creeks, the desperate smugglers of prohibited goods like rice, frozen products, and vehicles, when intercepted, resist such moves by opening fire on customs operatives in a bid to avoid arrest or seizure of the contraband.
Custom personnel in Ogun, up to 6 people have been affected physically by these attacks. Since April, one of the Nigerian Customs Service personnel that was abducted in the scene of attack on officers is still missing. There was equally a case of attack on an officer where they nearly severed his arms with machete cuts. A few days ago, one of my officers was nearly set ablaze, if not for the rescue effort of his colleagues. But the attack on properties has been enormous. Series of vehicles, properties have been lost to such attacks in the Ogun State Command.
In spite of this, the Nigerian Customs says it will not relent, especially re-strategizing as part of measures to check the trend.
we embark on several strategies. One of them is to educate the communities, engage them, and tell them that what they are doing is not proper.
For the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, adequate measures are in place to check attacks on personnel as the agency protects not only critical federal government infrastructure, but also movement of petroleum products along international borders in Ogun State.
Because we have our undercover, aside from having our undercovers there, we know how to station ourselves and we know the point to block them.
The security agencies advise the smugglers of prohibited products to look for alternative business or be dealt with.
Now, it's a known fact that the task of protecting lives and property of citizens mostly lies in security agencies. Now, in this report, Elias here takes a look at the trend of attacks on security personnel against the prevailing security situation in Benue State.
Benue, like many other states across Nigeria, has had its fair share of security challenges, particularly since the beginning of this year when the herdsmen farmers crisis escalated. The militia attacks, armed robberies and communal clashes are added burden for security personnel, where in most cases they are affected too. Special forces deployed to manage the situation suffer loss of personnel.
Between January and March of April, we've suffered like about 22 casualties. The Nigerian Army also recorded some numbers.
It was purely a message of fire that we lost two of our men. It happened on February 11th this year.
Commissioner of Police, Benue State, emphasized that the state at the moment is witnessing relative peace due to different peacekeeping initiatives. Other stakeholders called for understanding, support and assistance for families of the slain officers to serve as moral booster to the serving officers, as they will know that their country is by them even when they are gone in the course of duty to their fatherland. In Makudi, Elias, ATF, NTA News.
All right, and that's it for our correspondence report. And you're still watching Weekend File. Actually, the Deputy Inspector General of Police Operations, Habila Joshak, is already here in the studio with me to do the analysis of, well, the reports that we have watched are coming from across the nation. And that will be in just a moment.
Whenever pain occurs, you want quick relief. Try new Nurofen Express. It goes to the source of pain and gets to work in under 15 minutes. That's why Nurofen Express delivers fast and effective relief. New Nurofen Express works at the source of pain, fast.
Being a mom is great, but when your child has a fever, you don't know what to do. I trust Nurofen for Children to take care of my child's pain and fever.
Effective relief you can trust.
Dettol team is visiting schools to teach children how to protect themselves from diseases. Do you know how we get illnesses like diarrhea, cough, and cold? No! They are spread through germs, which are everywhere. You collect germs that cause diseases. You pick up germs from any surface, like when you don't wash your hands after going to the toilet, while playing. And then you can get sick because of germs. That's why you need to fight germs to stay healthy by washing your hands and taking your bath with Dettol soap to protect from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Wash, wash, wash your hands. What you have to do is bath, bath, bath yourself. Dettol soap every day. Wash, wash, wash your hands.
Madam. Brought us as usual.
As usual. You have no problem.
For the three put
you are welcome, sir.
As usual, yeah? I was
you take that one.
Yes.
Take that one. You don't understand? We want Nigerian homegrown rice. Finish. You don't have? You don't have?
Join the rice revolution today.
No other rice that tastes like Nigerian rice. Are you sorry? That's the Nigerian rice we are talking about. Chocolate made in Nigerian rice. Healthy food. I'm going to bring Mrs. Mobo to come to chocolate rice of made in Nigeria here. And see how it are made.
Correct.
And how they are cook it.
Correct.
Homegrown rice are good for your health. It boosts our economy and give employment to our people.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
And now time for our conversation segment, and I have the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations, Habila Joshak. So you're welcome to Weekend File.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, viewers.
Yes, and you have watched a number of reports that we already put out, and I'd like you to react to some of those reports.
Well, I've seen the captions, and I want to act this way, that crime is dynamic, and those who take to crime, whatever reason they're trying to profile, it won't stand the test of time. It is not necessarily that because you are not employed that you will take to crime. But I think basically there's something wrong with our system, the core values of our existence. People have thrown a lot of these family values, core values, into the trash. And because a lot of them would want to vent their anger on their opponents for several reasons. These people will either want to instantly terminate the lives of those of them that something had happened in the past, or because they've been those are the people that prevent them from carrying out such activities that are nefarious. But I want to say that of all of this, from the security agencies and to members of the public that have been victims, I want to say that those who take to this kind of crime are those who would want, they've killed out from the society, and they want to vent their anger in whatever way, and it is not necessarily that they don't have a job, but I think the value system, the core value system of who they are, they don't have a defined purpose for their existence, and I think that's why they're doing what they're
like that. All right, now observers are of the view that such incidences are recurring because of your inability to, of course, bring to book the perpetrators of this dastardly act.
Well, people are entitled to their opinion, but your guess is as right as mine. If there's any group that would be very willing to prosecute these criminals that take people's life and deal with people, it's the police. It would be an irony for anyone to believe and insinuate that the police will be reluctant in prosecuting criminals such as this. I want to let you know that we have records to show that for some of this crime, no matter how long it takes, all of it are charged to court. We are very, very willing. So this statement is not correct, and I can't understand.
Now, apprehending the actors is what we're talking about here. Have you been able to, arrest the perpetrators from all the, stories that are coming from here and there?
Yes, you agree with me that here you've seen a lot of criminals being paraded. They're quite huge in the recent past. But we still have a lot not yet been arrested. One thing that I want to say, members of the public must tinker, must collaborate, must synergize with the security agencies if we have to arrest everyone. Those who commit this crime come from the society and from the community. And police alone cannot fish out these criminals, because for every crime that is committed, there is that window that members of the public would want to have an idea of who such persons are. They must have seen, even when they're preparing, and they must have come across them. And so, if you are saying that the police are not able to, or the security agencies are not doing much, members of the public are also not doing much, because it is a two-way traffic, and we've said it over and over, that members of the public have a lot to put in order to allow sanity in the society by joining hands, by giving information and intelligence. And so if the police are failing, it means that members of the public are not doing well.
All right, now with respect to the synergy you just mentioned a short while ago, synergy between the police and the communities of different communities in this country, what about the community policing that has been in the air for a while now? Are you putting that into play in all of this?
Community policing that we practice here is an indigenous and domesticated system that we think will help. It's been practiced, only that it's not been properly, packaged. Community policing is involving members of the public in the affairs of policing, in the affairs of combat of crime and criminality. It is allowing them to make an input. But community policing does not authorize security officers to come and have it on members of the public and bring out blueprint. They alone to say, this is how I want to police here. It is the ability to carry members of the public alone to ask them what are their major security challenges and how would they want a solution and how can we solve that. And that's community policing. Community policing is involving through you remember we have the Police Public Relations Committee. We have the Eminent Persons Forum, which the General Police met. Very, very dignified individuals that have worked in public institutions and have been very, very apt in security understanding of the situation. And these are the people that we think of with traditional rulers and other important personalities in the community.
You admitted that it's not properly packaged yet because the individuals that you mentioned, maybe people, high-profile personalities, but we were talking about those who will be close to the areas where these bad people inhabit, to be able to, give information to the police. So when would this be properly packaged or repackaged?
Yeah, I talk of proper packaging. I meant we should be able to develop a strategy that people will see the direction in which we're going, and the government is really doing that with the security agencies. We also need to bring out some strategies that
now, vigilante groups are known to be everywhere, in every community, including mine, where some individuals have been selected to, of course, man, security posts, for the communities, right? And is that also part of the package? Because you mentioned traditional rulers, and I know they're also part of this vigilante group arrangement.
Yeah, vigilante group. Remember, they are volunteers, and sometimes I don't think they get paid. And I don't think they are properly profiled. They may be, but to some extent, they need to be properly profiled. I think there's a document that someone is trying to bring up to make sure that their biometrics are taken, they're properly profiled, they're also trained, and they're also known. And they must be under a supervision so that whatever that we're doing will be right, because you don't just pick people out on the street and those who volunteer and you just take them up and give them an assignment, of a critical nature of this. And so we have them, but they need also to be properly put in place with some guiding principles.
Now, DIG, the recent killing of 7 policemen on patrol in the Federal Capital Territory was viewed by security experts as a big blow to the police, considering the number of men involved, and there seems to be no reaction, so to speak, to deter the attackers. How do you react to this?
It's quite unfortunate that we lost 7. But this is not the first time that we can have that. I'm sorry to say that. If you look at some of the gains that we have met also, you will understand that definitely the bad guys would want to come after us. Like I said, that was an unfortunate situation, but this is not the first time we're having this. But I want to stand with them and the family of those that have lost their life. Yesterday, the Nollywood produced a very excellent film in honor of the fallen heroes, and also from the proceeds, they will take care of the family. I thank them for that. What I want to say here is that that was an infraction. Remember, it was at Galadimawa. Remember also that it was at 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, there's always traffic gridlock at that runabout. And police activities is lessened because if you try to do what we call random checking by pulling out a vehicle to search, you are likely to cause a lot of traffic gridlock. And so these guys, unknown to them, they went to take a rest on a bench around their tent. And like, you know, these people came from the back. There's a garden at the back of the tent. And there's a footpath. They walk down, and from the back, they open fire. The first person to release his shot is the majority. And so we had 7 down. One of them who escaped also gave a vivid knowledge of what it is. And the 2 others who went to say their prayers were also saved. And the driver that was in the vehicle also got saved. But members of the public saw. And I know we've had seven arrests. And they are making useful statements.
Okay, sir, let me put this to you as perhaps the final question for this conversation. And it's also coming from public, because we do, we ask people to make comments, and we get some. For instance, this now, this high-handedness of some of your security men when dealing with members of the public. Because the people that attacked your men at Galadimawa were not carrying out any operation. It could be a kind of a backlash, or something like that. What do you think?
I wouldn't think so. But if that's what the members of the public you see, well, you're entitled to that opinion. But I would want to let you know that high-handedness is too generalized. We have a best way of dealing with our men when it comes to high-handedness. We are collaborating with the civil society. We've had a lot of input in terms of training and in terms of putting us in shape. We collaborated with members of the public more than ever. And we've not had situations that that the police are handle issues and then molest people and then abuse people's rights. We don't let that go. We have one of the most defined way of apportioning blame and punishment. Sometimes it's dismissal and charge to court and imprisonment. Sometimes it's reduction in rank. Sometimes it's even a punishment of suspension and the rest of them. We have all this in place. And so when we get this, if you're able to tell us, let members of the public come forward with such incidents and you see what we'll do, follow us and see what exactly will happen to such a person.
Sir, with due respect, are your men retrained from time to time, periodically?
Well, of course. It's like any other organization. We can't have enough training. But the fact that we've never been trained at all is not true. There are trainings going on, but we'd like to have more. Like any other person. But to say that the reason for why we're doing what we're doing, or the reason for this attack is lack of training, I want to say no to that.
Okay. All right. Thank you at this point, sir, for your thoughts and your opinions on this matter. Thank you very much indeed. The Deputy Inspector General of Police Operations, Habila Joshak. Once again, it's been exciting talking to you.
Thank you so much.
All right. And also, thanks for staying with us up to this moment. And of course, sports is next.
Experience, they say, is the best teacher.
They hold us from the sea. Thank God that we came back home. They should not go there because it's not good. It's a very bad place. So they just my advice.
Even now, sir, they are know how much I spent.
Let these personal experiences serve as a lesson to all who would repeat their mistakes. A word is enough for the wise.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.